Hello, ladies and gentlemen. It's me, Sensei Kyle, and I'm here with a good friend of mine. You guys may remember, Professor Fiction.
No. Hi, my name is Professor Fiction, and I really like Naruto.
Yeah. Today we are going to be beating a dead horse together, collectively.
We both got our sticks, and we're ready to just beat this horse.
Yeah.
Wait, am I allowed to swear? Am I
we're allowed to swear.
Okay, we're gonna beat the shit out of this horse real quick. All right, we got our sticks. We're gonna beat the shit out of it.
All right, yeah,
I didn't know if you cared if I swore or not.
No, I don't care. But yeah, we're gonna be talking about Plague of Gripes' Naruto the Self-Made Hypocrite video, because it's kind of garbage. And I didn't realize how much it's cited whenever people try to talk shit on Naruto. You know, because don't get me wrong, Naruto is a flawed series, but the criticisms in this video is actually kind of awful. So today we're going to be talking about that. So first, I'm going to let Professor Fiction start by summarizing the video.
Okay, so this has been a pretty common belief of Naruto fans. One I previously held a long time ago, and that's that the primary theme of the series has to do with hard work overcoming natural talent. Which, yeah, you know, if you watch the first few arcs and whatnot, you can kind of get that impression, and that's kind of the whole basis of this video here. That Naruto contradicted its original theme when that's really just not the case here. Do you want to do we want to get into his first? I don't even know where to begin. Where should we begin, Kyle?
So I mean, really, I just want to talk about this specifically. What are because the most of the video is really just him. The video is really just him listing examples about how Naruto has a lot of inherits a lot of things and has a lot of things quote unquote granted to him that aren't really earned through hard work alone. However, and that and petty insults, there's a line I remember where he said he thought Naruto had a neurodivergency disorder, which is a nice way to call someone autistic if you can't really read between the lines. However, really, I think this speaks to a bigger problem in the misunderstanding of what the actual themes of Naruto are. And I personally, I'm pretty sure Professor Fiction agrees, there's three main themes in Naruto.
All of them way more important and obvious than hard work, though.
Yes. And the first theme I want to talk about, the main one, is the conquering of inner demons. I was wondering if Professor Fiction, if you want to start with that, or if you wanted me to start with that.
I think you should start, because this is actually where we sort of split our opinions. I'm more of the opinion that it has to do, the main big boy of Naruto is supposed to be it has to do with bonds.
Oh, I agree. I was just saying there's three that are way more important than the hard work one. I just kind of wanted to go down these three one by one.
So the whole thing with conquering your demons is definitely something that you should if you consider yourself or an action. They should be chapter episode 1, this is what the series is going for. Naruto literally has a demon inside of him. Sasuke, his rival, is cursed with this evil blood. A lot of the series just blatantly has to do with this. Again, episode 1, chapter 1 type stuff. I don't know if Kyle wants to get more into the specifics of it, but
yeah. So throughout the duration of this series, we have many characters who are cursed with something beyond their control. Naruto is with the nine-tailed fox, and later on we learn it's his hatred. Gaara has a similar experience where he is also cursed by his hatred of other people. Same with Sasuke. Throughout the duration of the show, Naruto is learning to conquer this hatred. Gaara learns earlier before Naruto, and that's why he ends up becoming Hokage at a much younger age than Naruto. He accomplishes the goals of Naruto much earlier on because Naruto still struggles to conquer said hatred, to conquer his demons, what have you. Sasuke is cursed by the evil bloodline of the Uchiha. However, instead of like trying to conquer this, he gives into this by awakening the Eternal Mangekyo Sharingan, as well as getting the Eternal Mangekyo Sharingan from his brother. And this is not seen as a good thing. It's seen as an awful thing, especially when he first gets Mangekyo Sharingan. He's actually going blind, and he's murdering like all these like random people, and he's actually going insane. In the end, Naruto ends up befriending the Nine-Tails Fox and conquering his demons and just becoming way more powerful than Sasuke. And in the end, it shows that conquering your hatred is what gives you power, not giving in to your hatred.
On that note, and I think we're going to come back to this example with as we get into the other major themes, is Naruto, like in regards to Kurama, which Plague of Gripes likes to use Kurama a lot as like Naruto's ultimate ass-pull power. Naruto did not like being possessed and controlled by Kurama. Everyone called it a bad thing. Naruto was gonna die if Kurama kept controlling him. Naruto, like, overcoming Kurama's hatred gave him, like, the biggest power-up he had in the series up to that point, which was to say that overcoming hatred and overcoming literally your inner demons is what gives you real strength.
Yeah,
not doing push-ups.
Yeah, I think a lot of people seem to like forget, like a lot of people confuse this with like, they try to see this as like Naruto Super Saiyan. You know, in Dragon Ball Z, you have like this rage transformation, but eventually, like down the line, kind of gets oversaturated and doesn't really mean anything. Like most people aren't angry when they use their Super Saiyan anymore, and a lot of people see that with Naruto. But like Naruto uses the Nine-Tails, I want to say like 4 times uncontrolled, and like he is like he's powerful, but like he loses his sanity in exchange for that. Excuse me, I'm still sick. He tries to kill Haku. He tries to like violently like beat the shit out of Sasuke. He almost kills Sakura. He almost loses the mission with saving Gaara because he's too reckless. And the 5th time, I'm sorry I said 4 earlier, but the 5th time, he literally almost gives up his whole body for Kurama, and like literally like almost dies because of it.
That's without even mentioning that when Naruto first goes Four Tails mode, like the Super Saiyan Ultra, fighting this Sannin, whatever. It's like boiling his skin alive or something. It's like boiling his skin and ripping apart his body as he's using it. It's not like a beneficial thing. And afterwards, Naruto like hates himself and hates Kurama.
Yeah. There's after this, I think we can go into like the next theme actually, like purely like why, if you want to talk about the bonds.
So yeah, this is another thing. This you might not catch this right off the bat in like episode 1, chapter 1. This might be something you pick up on later in the grand scheme of things. Probably by the Chunin exams, maybe. But a lot of the time in Naruto, Naruto gets that friendship boost to help his friends and whatnot. Whereas the opposition a lot of the time, mainly when it comes to Gaara early on, and Sasuke in the grand scheme of things, resides on like their power of being alone, and they always push away their loved ones. And this is to say that by gathering people around you, you become truly powerful. And this is echoed in the words of Haku earlier on in the series, where he says, when you're protecting someone you love, you can be as powerful as you need to be. And that's why Naruto suddenly got so strong to fight Gaara. That's why he was able, even in chapter 1, actually, Iruka was about to die, but then Naruto beats up like this Chunin level teacher that was supposed to be like blatantly above this failure student, and he just beats him up because he wants to protect Iruka Sensei.
Yeah, actually, I think this actually runs like a lot of people don't. A lot of people like I think miss this, is that like I feel like Rock Lee and Neji are supposed to be like direct parallels between like Naruto and Sasuke. These guys are like older, more mature. You know, Neji is like the genius, while like Rock Lee is like the hard worker. So like when Rock Lee fights Gaara, and Gaara being like another, I guess, I don't want to say Lancer, but another character who parallels to both Naruto and Sasuke, and he uses all of his hard work, it just isn't enough. Naruto needs to, when Naruto fights Gaara, he needs to tap in a little bit to the Nine Tails chakra, and this is only to use the summoning jutsu, something that he acquired from getting a mentorship from Jiraiya, like who is like a pseudo father figure. You know, these are all he could not have done this alone, and that's a big, you know, point to Naruto's character and to these like broader themes of like bonds and like and versus hard work in and of itself.
I think to like sum up what you're saying is like even though he worked really hard, Lee wasn't able to beat Gaara because he didn't have the strength of protecting people he cared about. Because Naruto had that strength, he was able to beat Gaara. And since Gaara was residing off the power of loneliness, that was the only way you could actually beat Gaara. Obviously, like, in a narrative. See, I'm not saying that, like, Hashirama wouldn't beat Gaara or something, you know?
Yeah, just for thematically speaking, like, this is why.
Yeah.
Like these fights are, it's clear that these fights are, like, a direct comparison.
Yeah.
And there's a third theme I want to discuss, which I don't know why this isn't talked about, because this is literally like, spelled out multiple times, like in the narrative. But it's the idea of like Shinobi, or like I guess soldiers, or like people being just like reusable tools throughout society. And like this is like the societal norm, while Naruto fights back against this societal norm of like everyone being like a tool.
I can understand why most people don't really see this one. This probably requires like a bit more of an understanding of nuance. This isn't as like much of a relatable theme as like, you know, bonds or like demons or whatnot. But yeah, it's definitely there. It's definitely like an important factor of the overarching series.
So yeah, the whole point of Naruto, or at least in the themes that's spelled out in the first arc, is that like, you know, Kakashi gives a speech to Sakura, Naruto, and Sasuke about how Shinobi are simply just tools for their villages to like do like basically to do these things, and they're replaceable, much like a tool is, and they're all expendable, even though he doesn't want the world to be like this. And the entire time, Naruto, this is actually where Naruto gets his Nindo, where he gets his ninja way. And throughout the duration of the show, I mean, I say show, but like story, Naruto is constantly fighting back of like being like a tool, as well as like other characters. So I want to like, this is like one of, I guess, the more controversial takes I have, because a lot of people try to like say that like Naruto being like the reincarnation of Ashura is like makes him like a Gary Stu, but the whole point of this is to show that like Naruto is fighting back of like this tradition, because Naruto and Sasuke are reincarnated by like these two figures in a constant battle, scripted by fate, I guess. And in the end, Naruto is like choosing like, okay, we're gonna break the cycle and we're gonna make peace. Because the way it would normally go or the way it should have gone, is Naruto would kill Sasuke, and both of them would reincarnate in the future. However, Naruto chooses not to do that, and they both make peace.
So like this is the thing I never really got about like the Gary Stu thing when it comes to like the Indra and Ashura resurrection bullshit. Naruto wasn't really like, yeah, he was destined to like have power like Ashura did too, but more importantly, he was destined to fail just like Hashirama and Ashura did. The point was Naruto was like defying destiny by breaking the cycle, and this actually like applies to all three themes we've talked about. Funny enough, he like defied destiny because of his bonds. He defied destiny because of what he learned through overcoming hate. It's not just like, oh, he was destined to save the day in the end. No, this was like Naruto defying destiny because his destiny was to fail.
Yeah. And I think the theme of like being a tool is reinforced throughout the narrative. Jinchurikis are often tools of their nation. They're essentially like walking weapons. Kurama, the reason why he hates humans so much is because of the speech that Madara told him, that he's just like a tool for Madara to use for power. The Akatsuki, I know it's kind of like this meme where it's like the Akatsuki are all manipulated by Obito, who's being manipulated by Madara, who's being manipulated by Black Zetsu, who's manipulated by Kaguya. But this actually all plays really well with the themes. Like, each of these characters, like, they all have their own goals, and like they all want to change the world for like some more noble reasons than others, but ultimately these guys are all tools for this larger figure, Kaguya Otsutsuki, who actually wants to turn all people into a bunch of white Zetsus, a mindless drone army that has no emotion and is completely expendable just to fight Momoshiki and Kinshiki. That's her goal. Her goal is to turn like everyone into like basically they're just tools. Meanwhile, our heroes, Naruto, Sasuke, Sakura, and Kakashi, fight against that. I don't really see why, like, I guess, like, you're right. I understand that, like, these aren't, like, relatable themes. These are broader themes.
It's like, there's like the themes that you, like, people can personally relate with, and then there's, like, stuff that, like, requires some more nuance.
This is like the fedora tipping themes that, like, philosophy majors notice, but, like,
yeah,
it is a pretty major theme throughout the duration of the series, and I don't understand why someone could miss it, honestly.
Someone who claims to be not just like any person, but someone who's like claiming to like know so much about writing, like enough to criticize the series in such a way.
Yes, someone who condescendingly talks down to his audience, like for watching the series, calling like the main character autistic as like a weird insult.
Hey, maybe he forgot to mention some mental illness theme that we're missing. Maybe, I don't know. That would probably be more accurate than what he said too. Maybe Kurama's like a manifestation of mental illness and Naruto's overcoming that. That would probably be more accurate than this hard work bullshit too.
Yeah, and actually, speaking to the tools thing, it's actually mentioned that Rock Lee is like a tool to his own Nindo, whereas Nindo is hard work. Like, a lot of the there's a sequence where the characters actually mention that, like, Lee, it's actually a good thing that Lee lost, because, like, if he didn't, he wouldn't, like if he never beat Neji, he never did any of these things, he would just kind of, like, be like a jobber, which is ultimately, like, what he becomes. He becomes, like, a jobber character, simply because he is a tool to his own ninja way. He is a tool to his own hard work, even if it kills him, and it's not seen as a good thing. Lee doing push-ups with one arm when his other arm's like shattered and his other legs are shattered, it's not seen as a good thing. It's depressing. But he's bound by this Nindo, because he forces himself to be. But nah, guys, it's all hard work. Hard work is the main theme of Naruto.
Something I don't really get when it comes to like what you were saying about Lee. Like, okay, So Lee lost the fight that was hard work versus natural talent. Lee lost that. So where is this idea coming from exactly? Like,
not really.
I get Naruto's an underdog, but if Naruto, the main character, is quote unquote not living up to this theme apparently, then where is this theme coming from? Like, where are people thinking this?
Yeah, that's another thing. Like, you actually posted on your Instagram, but like Lee gets 3 fights, and he loses 2 of them. Oh no, the first one he loses, right? The second one, he needs to get saved by the guy who beat him the first time, and even then, that guy dies of like cancer, like mid-fight, almost beating both of them. Because the fight with like Kimimaro is supposed to be like the super prodigy who would have been in Sasuke's place. However, the reason he isn't is because of this disease. This disease that's holding him back, and that's why he dies. And then Lee fights a clone of himself, and then he like barely wins.
And then like what you said about Gaara, like Sasuke ultimately Sasuke first lost to Lee. That motivated Sasuke to use his talent and hard work to surpass Lee, and just match him. In fact, and Lee was shitting on himself because of it. And people seem to forget that. People seem to think that Lee was just like this god that, like, for some reason, was the main character for an entire arc for some reason.
Yeah, and don't get me wrong, like, if we're gonna talk about like misuse of characters and characters who we would have liked to have seen more of, I'm pretty sure Professor Fiction and I would have agreed that like we would have liked to have seen more Rock Lee, as well as some of the other like main I don't want to say main characters, but like characters in the Konoha 11 who desperately need the development. But like the fact of the matter is, like it's
really. I was just gonna say it's really funny because Rock Lee literally could have just done everything that Mike Guy did, and it would have been the exact same thing. That's literally all. Like, there's a fair criticism of Kishimoto, like, you know, side character stuff, because Lee literally could have just been Mike Guy. In fact, a lot of people call, like, me personally too, Mike Guy is like one of my favorite characters because he's basically just like Rock Lee, like better realized.
Yeah, and even then, like, Mike Guy is also supposed to be his example of, like, hard work versus raw talent, and, like, he does come close to almost killing Madara, but, like, guess who has to save him? Naruto.
Super Jesus boy.
And in that conversation, Madara is using Guy as a tool. The whole duration of their fight, Madara is saying, you know, I want to test my abilities against you, and in the end, he's like, oh, I'm stronger than you. I know I can take this, but I declare you the strongest taijutsu fighter, as if like he's some god who can bestow this to Guy. Like he's very condescending in the way he talks to Guy, who again is supposed to be this like personification of hard work. But yeah, I don't see. I genuinely don't see where like the themes come from. Definitely there a little bit. The show definitely emphasizes that like hard work is necessary and we cannot ignore it. However, the idea that the main theme of the series is hard work, when I think both Professor Fiction and I have laid out 3 themes that like are definitely way more important. Not necessarily in order. I know Professor Fiction and I disagree. We may disagree on like, the
disagree
order.
on a few things.
However, I think we all can agree that like it's the main theme isn't hard work.
Something people will like also just not even consider is that like Naruto is like a hard worker in that like he defies social convention in a sense. Like, yeah, okay, Naruto definitely like trains or whatever, like basically every character does, whatever. We get that a lot in flashbacks and whatnot, you know, he's training and stuff. But a lot of the time, Naruto's hard work has to do with like the way he changes the world and more of his like intrapersonal struggles rather than like, oh, he does so many push-ups. Yeah.
But yeah, other than that, I think that's all we really have to talk about. So, you know, if you want to show your channel real quick.
Yeah, if you like One Punch Man, and you like Naruto, you should go check me out. I haven't asked him about it yet, but me and Kyle are gonna probably make a video on my channel because he keeps getting me to make free content for him and never does anything for me.
Oh yeah.
So look forward to that.
Yeah,
thank you.
But yeah, if you want to talk to either of us, you can join the Discord down below. I have a Twitter account, which I am linking in the description. Also, if you want to support me so I can make more content, I have both a Patreon and I have a Cash App if you want to just donate to me directly and without any weird subscription stuff. So thank you guys for watching all the way until the end. And as always, until next time.